can't go to court for our remedy. You must always lead with status and nationality in courts or on paper, right? So if you're going in and you're disputing anything with a debt collector or what have you, then on that document you always lead with your status and your nationality. Same as you would do if you were actually in front of a judge or an attorney in court. You remove their jurisdiction from over you, but you still go in to settle that matter, right? The 14th Amendment was allegedly established for the purpose of creating the citizenship for the liberated blacks and other disenfranchised people who otherwise had no citizenship because they could not comply with the requirements for the state citizenship. All right. What happened was that the blacks were taken off of the slave plantations and placed into the plantation of the United States Incorporated. The government then gradually absorbed everyone else into the same exact conditions. Therefore, we do not invoke the use of the 14th Amendment in any manner. Right? I see a lot of people use the 14th Amendment as a defense. Do not use the 14th Amendment as a defense because it is not. Again, once your status is properly updated, the only thing that matters to us are the Bill of Rights and the Articles of the Constitution. Bill of Rights are the first 10 amendments. They're the only things that matter to us as nationals. There are four classifications of citizens, and we will discuss them from the highest to the lowest. The highest status in any country is a national. A national is attached to the land by birthright and by bloodline. These people have natural born rights given to them by their creator and cannot be infringed upon with codes, statutes, and ordinances from municipal areas. These people abide by common law, the Constitution, not by the statutes that regulate federal areas, such as traffic infractions, speeding tickets, traffic lights. Right? Second status is a U.S. citizen, which is also called the political citizen. Right? This is the second highest status in the country. This is what most people in America have today. These citizens have agreed, either knowingly or unknowingly, to the statutes, regulations, and policies of the corporation of the United States or their respective country. So at birth, they voluntarily asked your parents to complete a birth certificate application. They took that certificate of live birth and sent it to the state vital records, who then sent it to DC, who then sent it to the International Monetary Fund to trade on the stock market. That is how they converted your name to all caps. That is why when you look at certain birth certificates, it states that the mother is an informant, because the mother is essentially advising the government that she's having a citizen. That is where that conversion takes place. You can go and ask any hospital. They cannot show you any law, process, procedure, or regulation that requires or mandates you to complete a certificate for a birth certificate or a social security number before you leave that hospital with your baby. Right? These citizens are given the birth certificate with an all capital letter name that looks like your name, but it's really a corporate identity. So you can participate in this game called commerce, as we've seen under Title 15, 4724. Citizens are classified as a United States business. Right? The reason why a U.S. citizen is also called a political citizen is because most of you have registered to vote. So if you've registered to vote, then you are stuck within the system of a citizen. So once you go in and you properly update your status, then you rescind your right to vote as well. You absolutely do. You rescind your right to vote as well. Wherever you're registered to vote, whatever district you are currently registered to vote in, there are always forms for you to go in and fill out on their website. Just type in Dallas, Texas, voter rescission form, and it'll let you know exactly how you can go in and let's see. There was a way you can go in, and I'm going to go in and find this document, but there is a particular document that you go in, you fill out, and you signed it, and it's like you're essentially rescinding your voter registration, right? Here we go. So this is how these forms will typically look, right? Cancel your voter registration. It's going to ask you simple information, right? And then it's going to let you know exactly where you send it to. Because when you're still registered to vote, you're still considered a citizen because you're still participating in that game of commerce. Keep that in mind, right? So that is why U.S. citizens are also called political citizens. These citizens are naturally born and are given rights that are taken away and given privileges, as we've seen with the definition of a license, right? A personal privilege, right? The third class is a subject or ward of the state. These people are people who reside in the country but have no rights, right? Our mothers are listed as informants on our birth certificate since they provide the basic birth details to the hospital, who then provides this information to various agencies of the government, who in turns provide a birth certificate to the mother, thus making us a child award, right? So this is the entire process that they go through to convert a national into a citizen. You're doing it again, knowingly or unknowingly, right? This is the reason why we always have the right to rescind any contract we enter in. Because if there was not full disclosure, it gives you the right to rescind it, right? Alien is the lowest status in the country. This is someone who is from the country but resides in another country illegally, right? Now, to kind of touch on what the mother did what's called the special deposit at the hospital and got nothing in return. This is one of the main reasons why you, the child, has the capability to go in and reclaim control over what was rightfully the mother's to begin with, which is your nationality, right? If one does not express a nationality, then one is considered a minor in the eyes of the government, and it does not carry the meaning that you believe, right? A minority is one who is without a state, and without a nationality, you are considered a refugee. So as long as your nationality is not updated with the federal government, then you are currently considered a minority and a refugee. That is simply how they define you, right? Negroes, blacks, coloreds, Indian, Hispanics, Latinos are all considered minorities. A minority is one who does not comprehend what is happening to him when a legal matter is being presented. A minority is one who doesn't know their true power or their true proper national status. A minority is one who is incapable of presenting him or herself, therefore needs to be represented by a prosecutor. Pro se means on one's behalf. All right. So when you represent yourself in court, you're doing so on your own behalf. Yes, this process can be done for anyone. Anyone, doesn't matter the age. So it can be done for your newborn, any kids under 18, your adults, your mom, your dad, anyone. Right? I definitely recommend that once you go in and do this process for yourself, you don't necessarily have to go in and explain this process in full to your people, but help them out in going in and updating their passports and correcting their status. Because this is going to be critical to everyone, right? And according to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, every person has a right to a nationality. But under the 14th Amendment, those rights are taken away, and in return, you are given privileges. Privileges can be taken away, rights cannot, right? That is the reason why they can take your license away, because as you've seen, a license is a personal privilege. But your ability to travel is a right. We agree by accepting instruments of incorporation, such as the licenses, Social Security cards, which are all unconstitutional and not challenging the brand by correcting your status, right? Once you learn how to operate and you update your status, then the jurisdiction of the United States corporation is no longer applicable to you because you will be a dual citizen of the state in which you were born in, right? I recommend that everyone go out and purchase a copy of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, right? Something that is very critical for every one of you to always have and to always travel with. Okay? It sets out fundamental human rights. Again, rights cannot be taken away and to be universally protected, right? So if you're going in and your rights are being violated, and a lot of people don't talk about this as well, but once you go in and let's say for instance your rights are violated, you file a complaint with the state, you file a complaint with the police, the attorney general, or what have you, right? You want to make sure that if they do not abide, right? If they do not abide by your complaint, submit a complaint through the United Nations. If your rights are being violated and you're putting these parties on notice and they're dragging their feet and giving you a resolution or giving you an update, then you bring that issue to the United Nations, right? Come to this website at your leisure and understand how that complete process works. Because it's going to tell you that you have to exhaust all of your remedy or all of your options within the United States before going in and contacting them with a complaint. But the Human Rights Council is where you want to go in and submit your complaints, right? And for those getting ready to have a child, usually what some people do is they create a birth Bible, and that's where they go in and they put their information in for the birth of their child, right? Again, it's not a requirement that you have a birth certificate. However, let's say for instance, if you go into a hospital your wife or your spouse is getting ready to have a child and they give her that certificate of live birth or the application, you're going to ask if that baby is a citizen, right? And you select no. There's some way to protect them as well. These documents that I'm going to send you, that we're going to go through in this class, that you're going to attach to your passport application, those documents can be used when going into the hospital and completing that certificate of live birth. That way, once they go in and process that live birth certificate or that application, they're processing it as that baby being a national and not a citizen of the United States, right? So again, as you're having your child, they give you that certificate of live birth application. You simply provide the documents that I'm gonna provide to you in this class that you're gonna submit with your passport application. You give that to the hospital as well. And when they ask you if your child is a citizen, your child is not a citizen of the United States. They are national per the document that you are submitting, right? After this process is done, it doesn't matter what you do with the birth certificates because they're unlawful in the first place, right? Only good thing about the certificate is that it does show your proof of nationality, which is why some entities will require that you produce it because it does indeed show the state in which you were born in, right? Right? So people are not criminals. People have nationalities. Moors gave up their birthright when they accepted being branded, gave up their culture, fell into servitude, and have been transacting business in alien names for generations. Right? Article 15 of the Human Declaration of Human Rights states that everyone has a right to a nationality. It's a right that cannot be taken away. Right? No problem. Right? No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality nor denied the right to change it. They cannot prevent you from changing your nationality. That is illegal and unlawful. Right? If you create a name or a brand that was not, then the law applies to that which you regulate in that jurisdiction. Once you get someone to agree to be in a jurisdiction or be what they are not, then you got them. Right? This is what happened to us. We agreed to be something that we were not, and under a jurisdiction that we did not have to be a subject to because we agreed to be the name and brand that they created. Right? In court proceedings, when they ask, do you understand what they really mean is, do you agree? Because they cannot proceed until they have your consent. This is why in court everything leads with status and nationality. All right. Georgia Code 121. This is currently in Georgia's code. There are two classes of persons, natural and artificial. Corporations are artificial persons. They are creatures of the law. And except insofar as the law forbids it, they are subject to be changed, modified, or destroyed at the will of their creator. Hmm. The Georgia Code 121 is critical for many reasons. It proves that you are a government corporation. All right. For example, your straw man or your all caste name is an artificial person created by law at the time of your birth. the inscription of an all cap letter name on your birth certificate, which is the document of title and a negotiable instrument. Your lawful name, which is your upper and lowercase name, was replaced with a legal corporate name of deceit and fraud. Keep that title 154724 in mind. That is what they converted us to. All right. Your name in upper and lowercase letters has been answering when the legal person, your all caps name, is being addressed. And therefore, the two have been recognized as being one and the same when they are not. All right. So when you, the lawful person, John